unprecedented default looks ever more likely as lawmakers leave Washington without a deal to raise the debt ceiling. All that and more now on Graf's Grievances. This is the era of the unprecedented. The once unthinkable now happening all the time. An amoral, sexually abusing businessman with no political experience getting elected to the highest office in the land. That president getting impeached twice in one term before directing a mob of his supporters to attack the Capitol in a desperate attempt to stay in office. A Speaker of the House getting elected on a historic post-midnight 15th ballot after barely overcoming dissenters in his own ranks. And now it appears ever more likely that the United States, the most powerful and wealthy country in the world, will default on its debt for the first time in U.S. history. Lawmakers preparing to leave Washington today for the Memorial Day holiday without reaching a deal to raise the debt ceiling and ensure the government is able to pay its bills on time. For months, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has said the U.S. could become unable to meet all of its financial obligations as soon as June 1. That momentous day, now just a week away. In America's almost 250-year history, the country has never before defaulted on its debt. Therefore, the implications of doing so not entirely clear. But according to economists, if the U.S. fails to pay its bills on time, millions of Americans could be negatively impacted. A huge sell-off on Wall Street would negatively affect Americans' investments and raise borrowing costs for all. Social Security payments to over 60 million retirees could be delayed. More than 2 million federal workers and around 1.4 million active duty military members could see their paychecks held up. And unemployment could skyrocket as the U.S. enters into a severe recession. This economic calamity likely spreading across the globe with severe political consequences for those who are believed to have caused this entirely preventable disaster. Republicans betting those electoral consequences will fall on President Biden and Democrats. RNC Chair Ronna Romney McDaniel saying on Fox News that the U.S. potentially defaulting on its debt would be a boon for Republicans in 2024. Quote, "You look at us about to default, this is a president that is failing the American people, so I think that bodes very well for the Republican field." And former President Donald Trump seeming to agree, writing on his social media platform, quote, "Unless the Republicans get everything they are asking for, they will have no choice but to let the Biden administration default. Better now than later." To be clear, Trump arguing that unless President Biden and the Democratic-controlled Senate go along with every extreme Republican demand, economic disaster should be imposed on the world. Knowing that will never happen, Trump is unmistakably advocating for Americans to suffer in a diabolical attempt to hurt President Biden and improve Trump's own chances of winning back the White House next year. As the Bulwark noted, you don't need to be a stable genius to know that a bad economy typically hurts the incumbent president, which is why even Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene has said that, quote, "No one in the Republican caucus is concerned about America defaulting on its debt." So instead of pretending that the unprecedented will not happen, and Republicans will magically come around in the next 7 days and vote with Democrats to raise the debt ceiling, President Biden should give an Oval Office address tonight explaining why the debt ceiling is unconstitutional under the 14th Amendment of the Constitution and declaring he will continue to pay America's bills come hell or high water. To learn more about why the debt ceiling is unconstitutional, check out my prior video on the 14th Amendment. Thanks for watching Graf's Grievances. Let me know what you think.